All right.
Hey, Dee, you have the sound off.
You're muted, Dee. That might be why.
Okay. No, you know what? I was supposed to do the share sound with it. So thank you for that, for letting me know. All right, let's get a do-over. All right. I love to do this just to show you, you too can be a leader and not know how to work your technology. So hang on, bear with me. All right, well, good stuff. Congratulations to everyone. For everybody you helped, whether you helped one person or a lot of people, we're making a difference together. If I didn't introduce myself at the beginning, I am Dee Corchin. I am glad you guys are here tonight on our Coaches Up for Change call. If you are new or just checking us out, we're glad that you are here with us. Our mission is to make a difference in the health of this country. So one thing I want to just chat about for a minute before we jump into our topic for tonight is something exciting that we're going to be offering. Actually, I'm going to be leading it, and I've posted about it, and you probably got an email about it. But I am really excited to host a group coaching session for 8 weeks with 10 coaches from our team. And this is going to be for accountability, for community, and for growth together. We're calling it Synergy, and I'm modeling it after another IPD. They've done it in their organization 3 times and said it was absolutely incredible in terms of what it did for them individually and in their business. So I encourage you to apply. It is going to be random who gets chosen. I'm going to do a Facebook Live. Applications are due in by Friday. I'll post the link after the call gets going. But applications, if you want to do it, your name goes in the hat by Friday at noon. And at 1 p.m., I'm going to do a live in the group using the random name picker to come up with the 10 names. And we start on Monday. So super excited, but I'm just going to give you a heads up. We've got 42 people who have applied already for it. So any level, if you're, executive director, FIBC, look, IND global, looking to go to your next level, or if you're a brand new coach willing to do the work and you're ready to go to your next level, we're here for you. So tonight's topic, Frank is going to lead our conversation on it, but we really wanted to come together and have some of our top leaders share about what are the qualities of a growing coach. It's not necessarily about knowledge, not necessarily just about action, but there's certain characteristics and qualities that almost across the board, you will always find these in individuals, or they are actively working on this for themselves. So Frank, you want to take it away?
Yeah, thank you very much, Dee. All right. Happy Monday night. Welcome to December. December is actually one of the greatest months to build this business. A lot of people right now want to lose weight because family and friends are coming in town or they're going to visit and they want to look their best. So I don't know about you guys, but we are excited in the Davis household because things are happening. Okay. Now, when I was a brand new coach, I actually lived with my coach, my wife, and she was a great coach, but I was also looking at some leaders that are like hit IPD. And, you know, when I was brand new coach, like global seemed like way up there, and nationals and all these people. I said, what are they doing to reach these ranks? I said, they're not any better looking than me. They're not better speakers than me. They're not more educated than me. What are they doing? What are they doing? And I said, if they could do some certain steps, then I can do those things. And I actually heard Dan Bell say, we all fish out of the same pond. We all fish out of the same pond. Their friends are no different than my friends. Their neighborhood is no different than my neighborhood. So I thought, what are they doing? And I began to study what the top leaders were doing. And we put our head together and we came up with 10 qualities, 10 top qualities of a growing coach. Now, there are some other great qualities that did not make this list, but they didn't make the top 10. Like one of the great qualities of a growing coach is just the ability to deal with disappointments and deal with failures. You know, having grit, right? Determination. Those are great qualities. They didn't make the top 10. So in addition to the top 10, I thought, who needs to talk about it? Well, none of you guys want to hear from me all night. So it wasn't me. So I thought, wow, how about if we get the top 10, or at least some of the top 10 coaches? Now, we couldn't get everybody, okay? Because I know there's some great coaches out there that are not going to be speaking tonight. Doesn't mean you're not in the top 10, but we have to kind of narrow down the list. So these coaches that are going to speak tonight are growing coaches. They're consistently in the 10,000 club. What's the 10,000 club? 10,000 frontline volume or higher, consistently, over and over, month in and month out. Must be something there, right? Success leaves clues. So we're going to start from the number 10 and we're going to work up to number 1. So we put these in order from 10 to 1. You want to stick around. You don't want to leave early. You want to take notes. You want to write this stuff down, because if you do these top 10 things over and over, if you do them, guess what? You'll be successful as an IPD or a global or a national, wherever you want to be. Okay, so we're going to start off. In the interest of time, we got 10 people sharing. I'm not going to comment in between, although they're going to be great shares. I'm not going to comment. I'm just going to introduce the next speaker. So I wish I had a drum roll. I wish I had a drum set. I don't. I'll use my computer. So number 10, the topic is flexible. Share, Kim Leininger.
Oh, goodness, the pressure is on. So thanks, Frank. So I'm talking flexibility tonight, and it's not about touching your toes. Your physical flexibility is not what we're touching on. I'm going to touch on 2 types of flexibility: your cognitive flexibility and your time flexibility. So when we talk cognitive flexibility, we're talking about your ability to consider new ideas and the potential possibilities that are out there. So do you have an open mind, and are you curious? If you have good cognitive flexibility, you probably find it a lot easier to identify solutions to challenges that are in front of you. If you don't feel like you have good cognitive flexibility, it's a good opportunity to spend time with your coach. joining these calls, learning from other coaches, be curious, ask questions on the Coaches Opt for Change page. Learning from one another is a great way to be flexible in your business because you learn different ways of doing things. The second one I mentioned is your time flexibility. So as a coach, you have the autonomy and independence in setting your schedule. When a client cancels a call on you, do you just go and veg out in front of the TV? Or do you use that time working on the priorities that help move your business forward? Keep your list handy. Know exactly what you want to work on in your business. So when you do have that ability in your time and that extra time, you're working on priorities that are important to move your business forward.
Awesome. Okay. Like I said, I'm not going to comment. I really want to comment. I really want to, but I want to get through this list. Okay. Number 9. Speaking on the subject of confidence. Come off mute, Sarah Bond.
Hi, thanks for having me. So yeah, confidence. I think that the thing with confidence is that in all honesty, we are all human and there is likely no way that we can feel as confident as we would like to, as much as we need to in this business. And so the work around that is really showing up as if we're really feeling it anyway, as if we are feeling confident. If you were at Awaken, you heard my story about how maybe you heard my story about how I had just the one client for like 3 months when I first started coaching. And I was just so down about that and disappointed about that. But when I had that one client in those first few months of coaching, I had to make a decision. I could either continue to get in my own head, and come across insecure and, not show up at all. Or I could show up as if there were plenty of people who needed what I have to offer and my love and passion for what I was doing. And so, I chose to show up anyway. And it's that age old, idea of dress for the job that you want. And we can show up as if we have the business that we want. And I always still do that, no matter what's going on in my business, nobody's going to know because I'm showing up with the same confidence as ever. And then the other thing is confidence in coaching also comes from coming to our trainings. I love that there's this many of us on this training tonight, but each week we have the opportunity to learn, to grow, to empathize with one another and to hear from, leaders who have already been there and done that. The free training that we get in this business has really helped me to develop as a coach, but also as a person. And that really enables us to come to our check-ins and, be there for our clients and build those really good lasting relationships. And then also talk about the gift of coaching with more ease and knowledge and experience because we've come to all the things that are offered to us. And then I think lastly, like the biggest thing is to just have fun. Have fun with what we get to do. And if we can flip that script and that mindset from have to I get to, that can really be a game changer.
Boom. Okay. This is going to be fun. We're moving right on up the list. We got each coach is going to share for about a minute or two. So we're going to number 8 on the subject of accountability. Come off mute, Vicki Feldman.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Want to share a little bit about accountability. And I think that probably all of us on this call that are coaches came into coaching to be accountable for ourselves and then in helping other people continue that accountability. And, I looked up the definition of accountability and it was, acceptance of responsibility. When I came into this program, I came in to lose weight and I came in to help other people. But I honestly never thought what was going to happen when I arrived at my destination. Well, first of all, was I going to get to my destination? But once I got there, so then what? And Dee has asked me over the years, do you think you would still have maintained your weight 10 years later if you weren't coaching. And I think without a doubt, probably not, because those old habits, even though I don't choose to act on them most of the time, they're still there, right? They're still there knocking at the door. I remember my mom was a smoker for years and she, finally gave it up, but still like that desire 10 years later when she was around a smoker, like it was still there, even though she didn't pull out the cigarette. So one of the things about accountability as a growing coach, and, I've been doing this a long time now, and there's, I still struggle with certain things, and I'm going to be very transparent. So Dee, don't laugh at me, but I have a weekly call with Dee, like pretty much without exception. And one of the things that I struggle with is my map. All right. But like I have a call with her tomorrow. Why? Because I'm going to do my map, because I am not going to show up on that call without having done. And I'm one of those people that, I don't want to look. So I think that having the weekly call is super important. I also think leading with your own health, right? It's very hard to coach other people when you're off the rails. So, one of the things that I had a conversation with a coach earlier tonight, with a client earlier tonight, is that you can't be coaching somebody and dipping into whatever your nemesis is, right? But at the same time, what I have found over the years is that I get very motivated by my client sharing their wins, because sometimes if I'm struggling, it just helps me get right back on track. So I think leading with your health. I want to also talk briefly about doing some things with external personal growth. Like the Habit Finder group has been really instrumental. And I resisted that for a really long period of time. And then showing up to everything. I'm always on these calls. I'm always on the client support call on Tuesday night, and anything and everything. I was with the group this weekend for the watch party, but everything that you can take advantage of, that accountability is what will help your business soar.
All right. Thank you, Vicki. We're going to number 7. Have a vision. That will be Lauren Humans. Come off mute.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. So I think that one of the things that has helped me the most throughout the business has been really casting a vision and believing that it could be reality. And I will tell you, in really kind of most seasons of my growth, it didn't happen as quickly as I thought or that I wanted it to, or maybe had some setbacks before there was really a breakthrough. But I think it's so important to really know what you want and to know why you want it, and really attaching emotion to those dreams and to that vision that you have. And it will look different at different times, much like with our clients. We have to kind of help them reframe their why and maybe reframe their goals. Sometimes maybe they set out thinking they're going to lose 10 pounds. They get to 10 pounds and they realize, oh, maybe I need to lose 20 or 30. Same thing with coaching. A lot of times we might set a goal, and then as we get close to that, reaching that goal, maybe it's really important to stretch and think of our next goal. And a few practical things that have really helped me with casting a vision is, number one, it can be really an important thing to be able to make a vision board. And I've actually made a vision board every year that I've been coaching. And it's really cool at the end of that year to see the things that have come true on that board, and then to continue to dream for, what's next. And I have them up in my office and I see them. And it helps me on those days that maybe I don't want to show up. Those visions and those dreams keep me going. And especially because I have the emotions tied to it. And honestly, it's interesting because our brains can't really decipher the difference between visualizing and what's actually reality. And so if we can spend even 10 minutes a day, whether that's journaling, whether that's looking at our vision boards, I even like to just pull up Pinterest, and I have vision boards on Pinterest, and I'll add dreams there. But starting to really visualize the dreams and the visions that we have for our lives or for our family, for where we want to travel, and just seeing them as actually becoming reality, we will start to show up differently. And so just contending for your dreams, and, seeing it, visualizing it, believing it, and just going for it. So that's my advice.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Meg Johnson is going to come off mute and take us to the halfway mark with the topic of passion.
All right. So thanks, Frank. Well, I'm Meg, and if you know me, you know I am passionate. But what you may not know is I'm not always feeling passionate. And so tonight, in fact, when Frank messaged me originally, I was like, oh, I'm not feeling passionate now. So I wanted to speak to you from a place that you don't always have to feel passionate, but there are things that you can do to increase your passion. So I'm going to give you the 3 R's of increasing your passion, and put in the chat anything that you might want to try. So it's to remember, to reflect, and to request. Those are the 3 R's. So the first thing is you want to remember. You want to remember the mission of Optavia. Our mission is we want to get people healthy. So remember the mission. Remember your personal mission. I'm on a mission to help stay-at-home mamas feel like themselves again. So you might have a different mission. It might be for middle-aged dads, or, who knows, nurses. But think about who is your mission? What is your mission? Also, remember where you came from. I'm in a very different place 5 years later in my mind and my body and my finances. And so it can be easy to forget how far I've come. So remember what things were like 5 years ago. Remember that feeling of hopelessness. So number 2, reflect. Be curious. Maybe things in your world have changed. Maybe your health has changed. And so maybe that's why you're not feeling quite as passionate, and you need to talk to your coach about it. Maybe there's something that's draining you. Maybe it's a relationship, or maybe it's saying yes to too many things, something that you need to reflect on. Just be curious. What's going on that's zapping my passion? And then the third thing is to request. So, sometimes you're not going to feel it. And what I do when I'm not feeling it is I reach out to my people, my friends, my mentors, my clients, and I say, hey, I'm having a day. Would you mind sending me 3 words that describe me? Or, hey, client, let me know, how have I impacted your world? How has coaching and Optavia changed your life? And sometimes I just say, hey, what do you see in me? Because I'm just in a place right now, and I need to be reminded of the truth. So remember, reflect, and request.
All right. Thank you, Meg. Okay. We're halfway there. Number 5 is setting the example. And Julie Apple Walker is going to talk about that.
Hey guys. So yeah, when Frank messaged me, I was like, setting the example, that can go a lot of different ways. So I wrote down a couple of things I thought I'd share with you guys, but the first, I think a couple of you guys have covered, but it's definitely setting an example in our personal health. And I think many of the leaders talk about that. If you aren't feeling authentic, it's really hard to coach other people. So put that in the chat if you've ever struggled there. So I actually had a good friend say, I eat M&Ms sometimes while I'm doing client calls. And I'm like, oh, how many of us have done that? So definitely setting the example by how you walk the walk. I've had to implement some structure for myself. I do burn boot camp like 4 days a week, and I need that accountability. So you might find that helpful for yourself to find a workout. Even as a personal trainer, I need accountability there. And the other is making sure I'm eating 6 times a day, because when I get really busy, I tend to stop eating regularly. I'm the one that just doesn't eat. So I have to make sure I'm doing that. So I just also encourage you guys to make sure you're leading from the front, especially right now during the holiday season. The other thing is showing up and doing the work, because often, how many of us don't necessarily want to do it? But when you own a business and you love helping people, you just remind yourself, why am I doing this? And that was the one thing I wanted to encourage you guys, is keep it focused on relationships. Because if you're loving people, that, for me, that makes it fun. And that's what brings me back all the time to showing up, because I can tell you in the past 6 to 8 months in my personal world, I have not wanted to show up many days. And so I have reminded myself what I love doing. And then it helps me, oh yeah, I'll get to talk to that client or work with this coach. And it reminds me of the fun again. So hopefully that helps you guys.
All right. I said I wasn't going to comment in between, but I've never had M&Ms while I did a client call. However, I have had an alcoholic beverage during a client call. I've done that. Full disclosure. All right. We're going to go to number 4. And Shauna, my coach, my beautiful wife, is going to talk about the topic of good skill set.
Oh, thank you. Okay, skill set. This is so important to have an ever-growing skill set. So what are some skill sets of a growing coach? I just kind of put them in random order. They don't necessarily come this way, but people skills. I mean, face it, we deal with a lot of different personalities out there. And some of us come into this with great people skills. Some of us come into it needing to learn some people skills. But it's one of the things that we should work on, because you're going to be navigating all kinds of issues and personalities out there. 2, mastering the health assessment. This is usually the first voice-to-voice contact we have with a client. And we need to be confident in what we're talking about and the questions that we're asking them. And, we're going to have to respond to things on there. So, having that confidence and mastering that health assessment, knowing what's on it, and, knowing the questions that you're going to ask is key. Maintaining a calendar. It is so important, y'all, to have a calendar so that you're not forgetting calls, you're not forgetting Zooms, you're not forgetting meetings with people. It's just incredibly important to work from a calendar. That was one thing that I had to learn to do. If I don't have my phone in my calendar, I'm lost. So organizational and technical skills. Okay, this was my big one. I could just fly by the seat of my pants, and you can't do that. You have to have some organizational skills. And then technical skills. Learning tech skills doesn't come easy to all of us. So if you struggle with that, work on it. Watch YouTube videos on how to set up a Pinterest account, or, how to dig into your email folders, or, good record keeping, TextWiz, Jotforms, learn your apps like PicCollage and Canva. There's any number of things that you can use to help you be successful with your business that are kind of techie, that will make it a whole lot easier. And your organizational skills, that's important. Otherwise, you've got a sticky note over here and a health assessment in the kitchen and a notebook in your car, and you just got things everywhere. So, become as organized as you can. Okay, another one is developing social media skills. Now, we can all make a Facebook post, we can all chat with our friends, but posting and sharing about this program that we coach and our journey, there's a little skill involved in learning how to do things, that are meaningful and appropriate. There are certain times of the day that are better to post than others. If you post and continue to post consistently, you will get better at posting. You'll get better at responding to people, putting together before and after photos, learning how to take a great selfie, learning how to do a live, and promoting your stories. All of this is important. Active listening, this is a big one. It probably should have been number 1. As you grow a more solid business, you want to refine this skill, because people are going to feel it if you are listening to respond, rather than if you're listening to truly hear what they have to say. And my biggest tip is, please don't try to reinvent the wheel. Lean into what these coaches are teaching you tonight, master what works, and then tweak it to make it your own from there, but don't reinvent the wheel.
Okay, we've gotten 7 topics so far. Who is excited to hear what the number 1 is? Well, we're getting there. We got 3 more to go. So number 3 is persistent. Come off mute, Gina Manley.
Thanks, Frank. So persistence means to continue your course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. So we hear it all, right? We think it all. The cost, it's an MLM. The clients who say, or the people we talk to, I can do it on my own. We get in our heads, if I follow up with this person, they're going to think I'm selling them, or that I'm only reaching out to get them as a client. I'm not growing as fast as I think I should be. And it's so easy to let all those obstacles and the noise get in our heads. But we have a gift in our hands. And there are people in your world and in their world who are looking exactly for what we have. But just like our weight loss journey isn't a straight line, neither is acquiring clients and coaches. But when you consistently show up in your health, post, you being active and social, people take notice. People are watching you, and you may talk to someone today who's ready a year from now. But when you follow up and you're persistent, you become more and more confident, and it gets easier. So think about this. A baseball player with a 300 average will likely be in the Hall of Fame. That average means that for every 10 swings, he gets 3 hits. That means he makes 7 outs. So when he strikes out, does he take his bat and go home and quit? No, he works with his hitting coach. He practices and he gets better and get better. So let the no's and the obstacles fuel your fire. Be so committed to this program as a client and as a coach that you continue to offer it even if they don't see it yet. Offer it again, even if they aren't ready. And continue to offer it because you know this program changes lives way beyond the number on the scale. That is persistence. And as Og Mandino, who wrote The Greatest Salesman in the World, says in scroll 3, if I persist, if I continue to try, if I continue to charge forward, I will succeed. And as coaches, your persistence might change someone's life.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're nearing the end here. Hang in there with us. You want to hear number 1, but number 2 comes first. And the amazing Lori Cole is going to be talking about consistency.
Hey, you guys. So in my house, my kids are grown, but when they were growing up, we had a saying, control your controllables. And consistency is one of those things that we can control. To me, it means to keep going in a sustainable and constant way. So you've heard a lot of this, and the number one thing we can control is what we do with our own health journey, our mindset about our own health. The second thing we can do is control our, be consistent in our client support, show up for our clients when we say, and without fail. Last week, I was driving and I missed a calendar alert. And one of my clients texted me, are you okay? Because I never miss a call. So that happened last week. Be consistent in your coach support. Show up for your coaches. Be consistent in posting on social platforms. And, people are watching us. I've heard some clients say, I've been watching you for 3 years. Well, if I had stopped short of that, they would have never come onto program. So 3 years is a long time. So show up, be consistent in that. And the last one is to be consistent with meeting with our mentors. There's so much wisdom that comes from the people who are teaching us. So I just encourage you tonight, when you get off this call, to make an appointment with your mentor. Thanks, Frank.
Okay, thank you. So you want to make it to the top, right? You want to help a lot of people. You've heard 9 of the top 10. You heard Kim Leininger share about flexibility. You heard Sarah Bond talk about confidence. You heard Vicki Feldman talk about accountability. You heard Lauren Humans talking about having a vision and a vision board. You heard Meg Johnson talk about passion. You heard Julie Apple Walker saying, set the example. You heard Shauna talk about all the skill sets. You heard Gina Manley talk about persistence. You heard Lori Cole talk about consistency. You heard, did I miss anybody? Did I miss anybody? You heard Vicki Feldman talk, right? I think I missed her. Accountability. Okay, so I got them all. Now, what is the number 1 topic of the top 10 qualities? Are you ready? Drum roll. The number 1 is the willingness to be mentored. Come off mute, Dee, and take us home.
Yeah, thank you, Frank. And thanks to everyone who shared. Was anybody as relieved as I was that the quality wasn't you had to know the life book and the habits of health book inside out, be able to teach it like a pro? Like, we've never even mentioned that, because that's not what coaching is about, right? It's about how we show up in the world. And the most important thing is, I think Lori teed me up well to say, it's mentorship, being in that space that you are willing to learn, that you are willing to be coachable, and you're willing to learn from somebody who is a few steps ahead of you in order to see what your next steps are, what you need to work on, etc. And guys, we all have blind spots. We all have blind spots. And none of us, I don't think, grew up wanting to be a health coach when they were a little kid. None of us went to school for this. We are all here. And my favorite quote is, to allow yourself to be a beginner. And that's the same thing as if you ordered your health coach kit yesterday, or if you order, you've been coaching 11 years like me, because you know what? I've never been an IPD with 11 years of experience that wants to be at my next level and doing what I'm doing. So every step of the game is about learning and being in that space. Now, the benefits of being mentored is it's going to help encourage you and empower you, because some of these things you heard about were about self-doubt, the voices in our head. So mentorship is going to help you sort that out to help you be able to move forward quickly. And also in clearly identifying your goals and those dreams that Lauren talked about. A lot of us, our dream machine went to sleep a long time ago. We don't really know what we want, et cetera. So we need somebody to help awaken us. And the most important thing, I think, you guys, because as coaching and being a business coach as long as I have, is we tend to put our dream aside. We can easily let life take over. We can let discouragement take over, all the things you've heard about. So that mentorship that you have is going to be able to remind you of what it is that you said was important to you, why it is that you're here. We're going to be able to help you identify the gaps, help be able to correct, and then also be able to increase your confidence in what you're doing. So my biggest thing is work with your mentorship team. And it doesn't mean just one-to-one mentoring either. I wanted to say that mentorship is also plugging into these kind of calls, learning from peers, right? Learning from other people and learning from other trainings and events that we have as well. Just putting yourself in that space. So we are a little bit over, but maybe put a 10 in the chat if these top 10 things have helped you. Maybe encouraged your energy, etc., and it was worth the extra time. So glad you guys were here. Awesome. Look at that. Yeah. So thank you to everybody. Frank, thank you for pulling this together. I know you've had a lot on your schedule, so thank you for doing that, as well as our opening video and our FIBCs and above. We're going to do our monthly leadership meeting. We're going to meet in my Zoom room right after this. We'll close out this meeting. So thank you guys for being here. And I really hope you decide to apply for Synergy. I would love to partner with you if your name gets picked. So you guys have a good rest of the night, and we'll see you next time.